Welcome to MovieSong.
Movie is.
I could learn to tame the clouds and let the sun shine.
So, Rich, this is a story that's captivated audiences literally for decades and remake after remake. In a nutshell, give me the essence of A Star is Born.
All right, we got the veteran rock and roller. He's a rock and roll star, and he's popping pills and he's drinking. And his name is Jackson Maine, but call him Jack, and that's by Bradley Cooper. And then he falls for, of course, out of nowhere, Allie, who's played by Lady Gaga. And she's like working as a waitress, cater waiter at a hotel, something like that. But at night, she sings at bars and clubs. And he keeps spiraling downward as he lifts her up. And what can she do to save him?
I just want you to be happy.
I'm working on that.
So the movie opens up as almost a concert movie, very much from the perspective of the star on stage, and you see the crowd. With the lenses that he uses, the crowd is brought in close, but you can't make out the crowd. It's all a blur.
Well, I think it plays into the whole idea of A Star is Born. So it's like, if you're the star, you're in the spotlight. So everything's going to be backlit. But when you look at everything backlit, it's kind of like it's instantly nostalgic, right?
It's almost as if we're remembering this movie.
It was
while
last
it's
summer.
happening.
It was that was the concert 2016. Of course, we're also maybe looking at this through the eyes of the guys who's drinking and doing pills, so maybe a little blurry that way too.
So after the show, Jack's just got to go out and have another drink.
But yeah, he's got like 4 hours to kill,
So Jack stumbles into a drag bar.
as one will do.
Is he really singing though, or is it one of those karaoke things?
And he sees Allie performing La Vie en Rose.
Des yeux qui font baiser les miens.
He falls for her right away.
Boom.
He takes her to another bar.
There's still a flight to catch and
Right.
liquor time in between.
Lady Gaga is the character that can really sing and has an enormous amount of talent, but everybody in the business has always told her she doesn't look the part.
Right.
And part of that is the size of her nose. Also a throwback to Barbra Streisand.
Lord, I feel like I'm dying.
Post. Sometimes I feel I've been tied to the whip-in post, and that is what Bradley Cooper's character, Jack Maine, lives in for the entire movie.
He is an Allman Brothers song.
So the 2018 version of A Star is Born has a reference to Over the Rainbow, a French classic, La Vie en Rose, and also there's an array of new songs. So there's 3 new songs that stand out, Rich, that I think we should treat here. And the first of those is the song that opens the movie.
Black Eyes. And it kind of sets the tone for who Jackson Maine is, where he's drawn his musical well from.
It takes references from Aerosmith. It takes references from the Rolling Stones. It also takes references from Leonard Skinner.
Springsteen,
Right.
Skinner.
Right, with this stinging guitar, with
Allman
this stinging
Brothers,
guitar
obviously.
sound. And it should be noticed that Lucas Nelson wrote that song with Bradley Cooper and also developed the guitar sound, modeled a little bit out of the sound that Neil Young gets out in the attack of his guitar. It captures a moment, that moment where the band is in the zone,
Yes.
but also the audience is in the zone. And of course, you don't see it in the film, but you know one of these guys is there. With the cut-off flannel shirt, with the headband tied around, screaming for Knopfler. There's also the song Shallow, Rich, and how would you define how Shallow plays in the movie?
Well, Shallow comes out of the parking lot scene. It's toward the end of the first night when they meet.
Ain't it hard keeping it so hardcore?
it gives you the idea that this is also a multi-talented person, not just a singer, but perhaps a songwriter as well. And Jackson Maine picks up on that.
And then when he's playing it in concert, he's like, come on out on stage and sing it with me. She's like, no, I'm too scared. So he starts and does it. And then she's like, all right, I got to go do it. And she steps up to the microphone and she does her part. And then he calls her up to his microphone. So now she's getting to the real front stage. And then all of a sudden he just steps aside and she gets to sing it and blow it out. And then all of a sudden, A Star is Born. So as a duet, it works perfect. It comes from the guy's point of view, boop, 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 and it's the girl's point of view. And then it's like, all right, let's do this together. And like, where are we? This is happening too fast. And then it's like, we're far from the shallow.
Once again, it shot a lot of backlit stuff, and the crowd is there. It's very, very close, and everybody's emotionally involved, but it's very much the point of view of the performers. And then the third song is a song called Maybe It's Time, written by Jason Isbell, who is a Nashville songwriter who basically grew up living, breathing, playing, listening to, being in northern Alabama. The song is just completely authentic. And Jackson Maine introduces the song Maybe It's Time at the request of a drag queen at the first bar that he meets Allie in.
Maybe it's time to let the old ways die.
You see Jackson Maine's generosity right from the start.
Once he realizes it's a drag bar, because there's a bit about that, I think he really realized, it's like, oh, I'm not in my territory. This isn't my space, and he pays it respect.
Jackson Maine's character, as flawed as it is extremely likable. You're rooting for this guy. You're like, please clean your act up because we love you.
And you know who else loves him is David Chappelle.
Hey, come on, bro, get up.
Dave Chappelle plays George Noodles, who's a friend that's happy with his normal life. And you see this domestic bliss in his household, which is kind of reassuring the audience that rock stardom or even huge talent that Allie has, that's all for naught unless you have this type of bliss.
Core.
And I think that's a reassuring thing to the audience. It's certainly a convention. It's done very well.
Yes.
And what I enjoyed about Chappelle's performance as George is that it's very soft, because when knowing Dave Chappelle as a comedian and seeing how like kind of acerbic he could be, he's obviously extremely talented, but you wouldn't want to get into a verbal banter exchange with Dave Chappelle because he'd wipe you out.
You know,
but
I totally get what you're saying, because it's like by casting him in that role, it's like he carries his weight. You know who he is. You know, you're just not going to slip him in there as a cameo. It's like, this is Dave Chappelle, and you're expecting, you know, or you know that's in there, but he comes off as the angel saving the guy.
He's just sweet.
It's the first time I'm worried about you.
The history of the film A Star is Born has spanned many decades, starting in 1937 with the David O. Selnick production.
Right.
Now, this original production was not created around music. It was much more about really the Hollywood system.
Kid, we're going to make you a star.
Right. Matthew Parker was one of the writers.
She's one of the writers,
along with a bunch of other luminaries. But it changes to music with the film with Judy Garland.
And James Mason,
Yeah, the 1954 version. Harold Arlen wrote the wonderful song, The Man Who Got Away.
Harold Arlen and Ira Gershwin.
Just a single take performance.
When
Judy
Judy's
Garland.
on and she's singing, you don't cut away.
You don't cut away. It's
You
just
don't
amazing.
cut away.
She begins to sing the song with a great deal of control.
The night is bitter, the stars have lost their glitter.
But by about 2/3,
Yeah.
the mania of Judy Garland begins to reveal itself.
Right.
And so, with the 1976 edition of A Star is Born, starring Barbra Streisand and Chris Christopherson, the change was made from having songwriters writing material for performers and moving on to the era of the, quote, musical artist.
Right.
The person writing their material and performing. Producing the whole bit.
Evergreen.
Written by Barbra Streisand and Paul Williams. Won the Oscar for Best Original Song.
It's
for
almost like A
Motion
Star
Picture.
is Born is like the James Bond of movie songs for romance.
The 2018 version continues this tradition started by Streisand and Christopherson.
We never knew Bradley Cooper as a singer-songwriter.
Well, he took it one step forward. He actually became a musician in order to deliver the songs. Which brings us to the song Shallow, which is written by Lady Gaga and a host of other songwriters.
Right.
And the song just Well, tell us.
It takes off. It takes off. I don't know how it compares to My Heart Will Go On as far as a movie song goes, but this one like blew it out. It gets nominated for an Academy Award, gets nominated for Grammys. It wins Grammys. It wins these other Critics' Choice. It's like the #1 on Spotify for streaming.
And it's a great song.
It's a great song.
And it's
it
a great
charted
song.
in 20 countries, including the US and the UK. I mean, they split the uprise, right? They kicked that field goal.
So with that, Rich, let's take it to the Academy Awards.
All right, and the nominees are When a Cowboy Trades His Spurs for Wings from the Ballad of Buster Scruggs. Music lyrics by Gillian Welch and David Rawling.
Let me tell you, buddy, and it won't be long.
The Place Where Lost Things Go from Mary Poppins Returns. Music by Mark Shaman, lyrics by Scott Whitman and Mark Shaman.
Do you ever dream or reminisce?
I'll Fight from RBG. Music and lyrics by Diane Warren. Then we got All the Stars from Black Panther. Music by Kendrick Lamar, Mark Soundwave Spears, and Anthony Top Dog Tiffith. Lyrics by Kendrick Lamar, SZA, and Anthony's Top Dog Tiffith. And then we got Shallow from A Star Is Born. Music and lyrics, Lady Gaga, Mark Ronson, Anthony Rossamondo, and Andrew Wyatt.
I'm falling.
And
the winner is
Lady Gaga, Mark Ronson, Anthony Rossamondo, and Andrew.
Shallow.
Well, it was almost a fait accompli,
Good for them.
Rich. It was such a blowout song, such an incredible performance.
It's by Hollywood, made for Hollywood, Hollywood.
It was everything that would be a winner and an Academy Award.
Yes,
so
it did it.
Congratulations to both Lady Gaga, Bradley Cooper, the entire cast, the whole
and crew,
production,
everybody. They did
and
a
really
wonderful
for the
job.
whole idea of A Star Is Born, that it could be made again for a fourth time
Right.
and be entirely compelling.
Yes, that's an achievement.
And
certainly.
and hats
It
off
also
to
embodies everything MovieSong is about too, right? It's about songs for movies. How did they come up with it? And this is what they did.
how they define the
Right.
films that they're in. And with that, it concludes our first 6 episodes,
Yes.
the series of Decade.
The Decade
And
series.
we'll be coming at you again.
Yeah,
And-
like, share, tell people about us.
Right.
We want to
You
see
know what the drill is.
What are some other movie songs you want to hear about?
And that's it.
That's it from
From
MovieSong.
MovieSong.